Welcome, my woodchucks, to another episode of Woodsy Mike. So I wanted to keep you guys updated on my cargo trailer camper conversion. I've been doing a little bit of additional things to it. I figured you guys might like to know what all these things are that I have done. Alright, so the first thing that I've done that was pretty important to me was to have another place for somebody to sleep. In the last episode I showed y'all the 2 bunk beds. I'm going to show y'all a little bit more of that here in a minute. But so what I did, I decided to take and build a storage cabinet slash electrical panel. I guess you would call it a panel, but it's got outlets in it. It's got a switch. I'll show you what the switch is for in a second. But anyways, the main purpose of this was to have another place to lay. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit kind of not so good looking, but what I did, I used some old plywood that I had laying around the yard. Hey, why do I need to go buy more plywood when I got some? It just don't look pretty. To me, I think it makes it look a little more rustic. So what I did here, I made the top of this removable. Okay, I didn't put hinges on it yet or anything because I was trying to find a way to put hinges on it, and I'm not really sure I'm going to be able to, but I'll come up with something. These lift up, and inside I can actually get to my power wires, my battery, my inverter, and my newly added ventilation system, because I felt like whenever we were camping in here that we weren't getting enough air just having the roof vent. So I decided to cut a hole in the floor, and I ordered this fan that's really cool. Fan is plugged into that hole and it brings in air, or I can turn it upside down and extract air from inside of it, which brings air in the vent on top. Alright, so if you guys look down inside of this box, there's the fan, okay? And what I was saying, by being able to remove it, there's the hole in the floor. This fan is a 4-inch fan that is made for air ducts. You put it in line with an air duct in your air conditioning system in your house, and it gives a little bit more power at the end of the line or whatever. So I found it to be quite useful. It plugs into the hole. I cut the hole out the right size, and I can flip this over that direction. And right here I ran some wiring to my little power supply switch. Right now it is drawing air out, which in turn, when this lid is closed on this box right here, I've got these vents that I ordered on eBay. So these vents were like $5 to $10, I'm not sure, pretty cheap. I got 2 of them. I got one over there, one over here, and when that brings the air in or draws the air out, I can have the lid on top of here, and then the air flows through these vents. Pretty cool, right? So I hope you guys like that idea. I hope someone can use it. You're more than welcome to use any of the ideas. I'm gonna put a couple links to eBay. I'm not trying to monetize any money from these links. I just want you guys to be able to know how to find the fan and the vents if you decide to do this in your cargo trailer. Okay, so another one of the things that I did, I was having a problem because I always had to run my extension cord out the door. Like if I wanted to plug it in to have the 120 volts in here for the heater or whatever else runs on that. And whenever I was closing the door on the wire, it was messing up my extension cord, and I was kind of afraid that I was actually gonna get shocked by maybe the door cutting the line and not knowing it. But so I took care of that problem. Okay, so here's what I did. I ran my power wire that comes into my power inverter, and I just put a plug on the outside. It's very short. I tied a knot here so it won't pull out. I'm gonna silicone around that. I haven't had a chance to do that yet. And then, these are wire nuts. It's plugged in right now. It's perfectly safe. Okay. So that solved that problem. I was really happy now that I can close my door all the way and I don't have to worry about that. So another one of the things I did is, as far as power goes, I told you guys in the last video that I had this power inverter, and I explained, how to use a power inverter. I explained to y'all the whole deal about that. So it looks kind of ugly just laying in the camper. So I decided that I would wire it in, and that's where the extension cord attaches to. And what I did, I ran a couple outlets. So the power inverter is inside the box now, doesn't look ugly at all, and I'm happy. So I'm also happy when it comes to this storage compartment up here, because that's what I'm gonna call it. It's got, you know, it's got all my wires and stuff hidden away, but it's also really good storage. I can put a lot of stuff in here. It is great. It makes it where my little camper is not all cluttered up, you know, and things that just look kind of ugly, like my chainsaw and my speaker and different stuff like that, they're hidden away. So on this storage compartment up front, I got this cushion, and I just throw it right on there like that. It's pretty much the same from this point to the other point over here. It's not real wide, but it's good enough to lay on. You know, for one of the kids, if one of the kids come with me, I actually slept on this New Year's night, and I was comfortable. I'll show you. So I'm laying down on it right now. Wonderful, wonderful. It fits perfect. Okay, what these cushions are is actually lawn furniture cushions. I can't see myself paying the money for the memory foam mattresses. They're too expensive. And these things right here, we already had them laying around the house. So you know what? Throw them in here, use them. They're comfortable as could be. So another thing, temporarily for now, I know I showed you guys in the last video that I made about my camper that I had the TV mount up here, and that TV was kind of small, and it was a lot nicer to get a bigger TV. So I got a bigger TV, I put it in here. My brother actually gave me this TV. I repaired it. There actually wasn't much that needed repaired on it. It was a loose wire. Free TV for me. So for now, I'm just gonna set it up on my little front storage compartment. The reason why is because the mount that I had bought for this only fitted the small TVs, and that's all I need to do is just go buy another mount. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to show you guys was this cool little shelf that I built on the side, because in here it's kind of cram packed tight, and I don't like that. You know, when I have to set a table up, it just takes up too much space. So I've got this here wall mounted shelf that I built. Again, I did it with used plywood, and I had a bunch of plywood left over from a shed that we had torn down. So I put a couple hinges on the wall. I know you can see my camera shadow. That's a little goofy, but who cares? Okay. Up here, I've got these chains, and they just screw into the side of the shelf here. Same over here. And then I can lift this up out of the way. I put this little latch right there, which I need to do something a little better than that. And that holds it up. It's out of the way whenever I want to pull the four-wheeler or the lawnmower or whatever in here. Also, so in the last video, I told you guys I had ran a 12-volt power system through some of the walls, and I've got wires for future things that I might want to add. And one of the things that I mentioned in my last video is that I wanted to add a charging station for cell phones, cameras, and whatever. So at this here little shelf that I built, I used one of my power wires that I already had coming out of the wall, and I mounted a 12-volt car power outlet, which some people call a cigarette lighter plug. Whatever you call it, it don't matter. And then all I got to do, you know, I can just put my little USB port in there. I got 3 on that one to make sure there was plenty of room to charge several phones. So one of the problems I had the last time when we went camping was definitely space to set stuff, and you know, that shelf, I do believe that solved that problem entirely, except for hats and jackets and stuff. So I added these little hooks. I really like these little hooks. They were cheap, a couple dollars at Ace Hardware. And here's another one on the other side. You know, we can hang our hats or whatever, keys. And I put these little trees. And actually, it smells really good in here with them. They're supposed to smell like royal pine, so whether it's royal pine or not, they smell good. So I was going to mention to you guys that another thing that was useful for to have that power outlet up here was I have this little 12-volt fan, and look at that, my fan faces right on me. It's got the little plug, and I can turn the fan on with the little switch here. Look at that. That is great. I like fans. When it's cold, I don't like fans, unlike some of you people out there that like to freeze your butts off with a fan in the middle of the winter time and your window wide open and the heat on. I like to have a fan when it's hot. As you might have noticed in my last video that it was somewhat dark in here and the light was kind of orange looking, and nah, I didn't really like it too much. I told y'all that I was going to add LED lights, and I did. I got 2 LED lights. It's amazing. It's so much nicer in here. I like the light a whole lot better than the orange. And I also added something a little cool, you know, just a little bit of accent lighting. So here's what I did. Okay, on the same switch that I had before on the wall, to go along with the outside lights. So when I turn the outside lights on in the inside, blue. Yes, I got a couple of blue LED strips. It adds to the mood in here. When I turn the LED, the white lights off, it's actually pretty cool in here. I don't know. Maybe I'm part Smurf, who knows. As far as those little mattresses that I was showing y'all a minute ago, I also have these on these beds. And I did end up buying some foam. It was really cheap at Walmart, and you get what you pay for. It was useless. Really didn't do anything. I tried that first without these pads, and it was horrible. I might as well have just slept on the wood. So the last thing that I wanted to show you guys before I end this video is how my bunk beds can be removed. I want you guys to believe me that this camper can still be used to pull something up in here, and these bunk beds are not in the way at all. I can put them down the side, and I'm going to show you guys that right now. All I'm going to do, I'm just going to roll this whole bed up together. And I'm going to set it up front. Same thing. Roll the whole bed up together. Alright, so I got them out of the way. You do have to move a couple things around. Mostly just wanted to show y'all that these bunk beds do move out of the way, which I haven't done in a while, so let's hope this works out good. Knock my soda over. Alright, so I did run into a little bit of a problem with this. I didn't think about it when I built this shelf here, and you're always going to run into little things like that. I'll be able to fix this. It'll take me just a few minutes to think it out how I'm going to do it. But anyways, it's in the way for me to be able to remove this bottom bunk and come forward with it. I could probably still manage a way to get it out the back, but I really want it to come forward so it can lay up against the wall just like that one is. And then all I have to do is just move my stuff out of the way that's back there, bring it forward, and there's room to still put something in here. And that's that. It's back into place. It did take a little bit of work this time to get it around these couple of hooks that I put on the walls. I'm definitely going to move those, and I'm going to do something about this chain on this shelf. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but it's got to move. But other than that, that's it. It comes out pretty easy, like I showed you guys. As suggested by a friend of mine who slept on the top bunk bed, he said that he didn't feel completely secure sleeping up here, because both sides of the bunk bed you could actually roll off of it. So quick little fix. On my ramp that goes down, there's also a tiny little ramp that goes down a little bit further to make it a smooth, you know, for a lawnmower to pull up in, it's nice and smooth. So what I did, I got these little hooks here, and they just hook right to the top bunk bed. Really easy. I put 2 of them up there. Yeah, they could probably rattle out. I mean, it's something you definitely need to check, but that makes this door secure, and when you lay up here, you're not gonna fall through that little crack. Well, that's it for this episode of my cargo trailer camper conversion, and I just want to give y'all a little sneak peek of my next video that I'm gonna do as far as my camper is concerned. I had this little idea that I want to build my own air conditioner in here. I don't have a clue whether or not it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try it. Okay, so there's this thing called the Peltier effect. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen those little 12-volt plug-in coolers that you can have in your car while you're traveling down the road, you know, you're going places. You can have that plugged in, and it's basically a refrigerator, and they're ice cold. They'll keep stuff cold for as long as they're plugged in. Well, I decided to search online, and I found a supersized Peltier effect, whatever it's called. I really don't even know what it's called, but what it uses is the Peltier effect. So here's what this thing looks like. Very interesting. And what it has here is, these are cooling fins on the inside, and there's a fan that blows through those cooling fins. On the sides, there's 2 chips on this side and 2 chips on this side. These are the Peltier chips. I'm not exactly sure, like I said, how they work, but they're 12 volt. They run on a 12 volt system. What happens is, okay, on the inside, the metal cools, and it uses electricity to move heat from one side of this chip to the outside, which in turn cools the inside. And then the heat is transferred through these little cooling fin things that are on the side that you attach water lines to. And then the water lines go to an external radiator, and you have a fan blowing on the radiator that cools the water, and it circulates. There's one on each side. These ones are kind of expensive. I mean, expensive to me. I think I paid 60 bucks for this thing. For a chance that it might work, maybe I shouldn't have did it. But I like doing things myself. So this being 12 volts means that once I do have solar panels on the roof, which is in my future plans also, I'm going to be able to run this on the solar panels. It takes 600 watts. This actually draws 600 watts. So that's quite a bit of watts to be drawing on solar panels. But I think I can do it. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end up getting some solar panels from a friend of mine. His name is Gary Mole. He actually has his own solar panel company, and he lives off-grid. He's really cool. Go check out his videos on YouTube. I'll leave a link in the description below. His YouTube channel's name is Off Grid Gary. Alright guys, so if you like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me. I appreciate all of you guys. In fact, today I reached it to 100 subscribers. You guys are amazing. Thank you to all of my friends on YouTube that I have met recently. You guys have been great with your live streams. I really like it. I want to do some more live streams myself in the future. And you guys stick around. I got more for you. And I hope you guys have a great time in the woods.